Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very happy and very honored to be here at the house of Parikshit Prabhu and Mataji. Thank you so much for having all of us here to chant and sing the glories of Sri Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev, and of course the teachings of Sri Prahlad Maharaj that he has bestowed upon this world. It is a working day, or it was a working day. Tomorrow is also a working day. Considering all of that, to see devotees come to chant and hear about the Supreme Lord is probably the most satisfying and inspiring thing a speaker can see. So thank you so much for being present here. This is the last time we are meeting, at least in this visit, to hear and chant about Sri Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev. We have been doing this for the past couple of days now, where on Saturday we discussed about what the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam deals with. We explained as to how this story unfolded in the 7th canto, which is the narration of Shripad Narad Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Rajasuya Yajna. We extolled the first principle from the life of Prahlad Maharaj, even before he appeared in this world, in the form of how a demoniac father gave birth to a divine child, which was nothing but the glories of the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or the holy name. In that class, we spoke about holy name, and we concluded the discussion by speaking about the emblem of holy name, the personality who displayed unflinching attachment to this one limb of Krishna consciousness, which was Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur. In the following discussion, in our Sunday feast, we spoke about how Prahlad Maharaj has these two qualities of Krishna Graha Grihitatma and Govinda Parirambita. For Krishna Graha Grihitatma, we said how he is haunted by the planet called Krishna, and Govinda Parirambita, how he is embraced by Govinda Shri Krishna. And we brought about the second teaching of Prahlad Maharaj as to how even when he was small, he was not that personality who would play around with toys. He would not go around and play cricket. Like in India, you would have gully cricket. I remember I would do that when I was small, especially during summer vacations. Those 3 months that you have, you go out in the morning, come back in the afternoon, and by the time those 3 months are done, when you go back to school, you're tanned like anything because of the summer heat. But that's also fun. That age, you have that real fun. But Prahlad Maharaj was not like that. He would utilize every minute that he would have to cultivate his Krishna consciousness, teaching the second principle, avyartha kalatvam, time should not be wasted. Our Prabhupada was like this. When he was small, Srila Prabhupada would have Jagannath Rath Yatra, small deities, and he would have Rath Yatra. One time when Prabhupada was there in Los Angeles temple, Prabhupada was sitting in his desk, and Prabhupada would have this regal way of sitting, where many times we would have seen Prabhupada would sit with one arm raised, and Prabhupada is smiling. So, Brahmananda Prabhu says one time, as he and Karandara Prabhu were sitting with Prabhupada in the room, Srila Prabhupada looked at both of them. They were having a conversation, and Prabhupada, in between the conversation, Prabhupada looked at them with piercing eyes, and Srila Prabhupada said, whatever I am doing now, I was doing back then also. Whatever Krishna consciousness I am doing now, I was doing in my childhood also. Do you get it? And Brahmananda Prabhu says, when Prabhupada said it, there was no iota of doubting him, because the preaching that he would do and the lifestyle that Prabhupada was leading, it was very clear that this personality was doing it not just in his childhood, he was doing it probably many millions of lifetimes in the past too. And Prabhupada looked at both of them eye to eye and said, do you get it? And Karandara Prabhu says, when Prabhupada said that, we were shaking. We had to get it. So Prabhupada was like that. Whatever he was doing from childhood also, which means avyartha kalatvam. Devotee doesn't waste time. We brought out the third principle as to how he was when sitting on the lap of his father. He says, Hitvatma pakam grahamanda kupam vanam gatoya harimashrayata. My dear father, leave everything and go to Avataridesh, correct? Go to the forest, which means Vrindavan. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj says one, and Prabhupada in his purport says Vrindavan. We can read that. Prabhupada actually pours his heart out. Prabhupada says one in Kali Yuga means Vrindavan, no other one. And we spoke about Dham Mahima, we spoke about the glories of Braj Dham, we spoke about Uddhav and Krishna, how Krishna misses Vrindavan. We spoke about how Mukti Devi gets liberated by Braj Raj. Then the fourth principle we brought out from the life of Prahlad Maharaj is the Navavida Bhakti principle. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu, Bhaktische Navalakshanam. The 9 symptoms of Bhakti, or the 9 limbs of Krishna consciousness, and how sitting on the lap of his father, he brought out this fourth principle that to get the Supreme Lord, these are the limbs that need to be performed. This is pretty much where we stopped after 4 teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. Dear devotees, we will cover the next 2, and all in all we will have 6 teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, by which we will end our discussion. There are many more teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, but we really don't have much time. So whatever best I could pick, I'm trying to present. Prahlad Maharaj, when he gets thrown from his lap, at that time also Prahlad Maharaj doesn't stop preaching. Prahlad Maharaj looks at his father and says, Matinya Krishne paratosva tova midopi pattiha grahapratanam adantu govid vishadam tamishram punah punah charvita charvananam. Canto 7, chapter 5, text 30, Srimad Bhagavatam. He looks at his father and says, my dear father, what are you doing? Punaha punaha charvita charvananam. You are chewing the same thing that has been chewed. People have tried to do what you are doing now and they have not been satisfied. My dear father, don't do this. Go to the lotus feet of Hari. Go to the lotus feet of Krishna. Realistically, we see material temptations. It's an eyewash. Material temptations are an eyewash. Why? I'll give you an example, very basic example. If a student gets into probably IIT Bombay or passes with flying colors, gets very good grades, the mother gives a gulab jamun as a token of appreciation for the hard work that he has done. The child likes the gulab jamun, the child eats the gulab jamun, child is very happy. Now if the child failed, will he eat the same gulab jamun? Why? Wait a minute. Gulab jamun has happiness, right? Gulab jamun has happiness. If you ate it in the first time, you should also eat it in the second time. Which means the object doesn't have happiness. We have superimposed that point that gulab jamun has happiness. But now when the tables turn, that same gulab jamun or pizza doesn't give us happiness. Which means that gulab jamun or that iPhone or that BMW or Mercedes did not have happiness. We superimposed our happiness on that. And when the time changes, that object is not giving us happiness. Now what do? Prabhupada says like monkey which switched to another gadget or to another object. This, Prahlad Maharaj says, punaha, punaha, chara vita charvananam. This is chewing the chewed because we have done this in our previous lifetimes. In this lifetime also we have done it. And we all know it. Prahlad Maharaj says, Father, why are you doing this? Why don't you go to Krishna? Why don't you go to Hari? Why don't you go to Vishnu and offer yourself? That is the best you can do. Prahlad Maharaj, when he said this, his father Hiranyakashipu became so angry. He ordered Shanda and Amark and all the other demoniac ministers who were there. He ordered them, kill him. Just kill him. Imagine, your father's only business is to kill you. Will we even get sleep? It's not that Hiranyakashipu did a 9-to-5 IT job and the spare time he wanted to kill Prahlad. His only job was to kill Prahlad. Will we even sleep at night? No. It's very difficult. And look at Prahlad. He was made to be trampled by elephants, be trampled by horses, be put in a pit of snakes, administered poison. What was his fault? What wrong did Prahlad do? यदि रुक कर यदि हम सोचे प्रहलाद की क्या गलती थी? What wrong did he do? His only mistake was probably he did bhakti. Is this the punishment someone should get for doing bhakti? If we were on his situation, we will say, Prabhuji, I will not do bhakti. Nahi karni. If by doing this, if I am going to be trampled by elephants and other poisonous creatures, I don't want to do bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj still continues. And in that state, when animals are there around him, His Grace Gauranga Prabhu was saying, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj has this, because Maharaj is here, I'm just remembering, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj has this classic trademark in his classes. Whenever he speaks about Dhenukasur, Agasur, he creates, mimics noises. And they will be realistic. I remember I was there in Balram Purnima 2018 Chapati class, and Maharaj was speaking. 2.5 hours into the class, he made the sound of a horse. And it was not just sound of a horse, it was a wake-up call for everyone. It almost felt inside Radha Gopinath horse came. So Gauranga Prabhu was saying, I had heard Srila Radhanath Maharaj do this in many of his classes, so I thought, why not I also do? So he was speaking in a typical Maharashtrian village where no one had heard Radhanath Maharaj do that. So he was speaking Gocharan Leela. And in Gocharan Leela, he made the sound. At the end of that class, one local Maharashtrian person, he came and said, Pura class अच्छा था, वो जानवर कौन सा था? So Gauranga Prabhu said, Are Baba, I am speaking Gocharan Leela, it will be cow only. That person said, Bilkul गाय जैसा नहीं था. So then Gauranga Prabhu said, ये बंबई की गाय है, ऐसी आवाज करती है. Oh, Krishna. So then Gauranga Prabhu was saying, Guru is Guru, disciple is disciple. What Srila Radhanath Maharaj can do is very difficult, to mimic different animals, and real time, it's a skill and it's an art, which he literally nails it. Prahlad Maharaj was around these animals and snakes and elephants only because he did bhakti. And even at that point, look at Prahlad's ability. He sees Krishna everywhere. He sees Krishna even in those situations. How? The Shastra explains, Prabhupada explains, when he was put in a pit of snakes, Prahlad Maharaj says, what is there to be afraid of? This is the bed of my father. Why? Because Vishnu sleeps on a bed of snakes, Ananta. He says, this is the bed of my father. And which child will be afraid of the bed of the father? When he was put in fire, Holika was put in fire, Prahlad Maharaj says, what is there to be afraid? This is the mouth of my father. Because in Yajna we put Ahuti, and that Yajna Kund, the fire, is considered the mouth of Vishnu. For snakes, he says, this is the bed of my father. For fire, he says, this is the mouth of my father. When he was given poison, he says, what is there to be afraid? Poison is my mama. Why? In the Samudra Manthan pastime, from that same churning, Lakshmi Devi came out. And Vish, Halahal Vish also came out. Who is Lakshmi Devi? The mother of Prahlad Maharaj. And mother's brother, because the origin is same, mother's brother becomes mama. He says, what is there to be afraid? Poison, Vish is my mama. Hiranyakashipu is thinking, what logic is this? This guy is seeing Krishna everywhere. I am putting him in a pit of snakes, he is remembering Vishnu. I am giving him fire, he is remembering Vishnu. I am putting him in so many calamities. Even poison, he is remembering Krishna. This is a classic trait of always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna. There is one thing which is where we try to do it, we try to remember, and second is natural spontaneous remembrance. Prahlad was like that, spontaneously remembering, and Prahlad teaches this point that human life is meant for this. Time and again Prahlad Maharaj teaches, human life is meant to remember Krishna, it is meant to hear about Krishna, it is meant to chant about Krishna. One time Prabhupada was there in one of the Indian temple, and it was time for initiation. So Prabhupada had a big list of different names. Bhakta David, Bhakta Willie, Bhakta Alan, Bhakta Steve, Swami Atmananda. Prabhupada said, Swami? If he is already Swami, why in the list? So the servant said, Prabhupada, he gave sannyas to himself. Prabhupada said, interesting. So then Prabhupada understood the history that he is also wanting Diksha, but he has given sannyas to himself. Prabhupada saw name is Swami Atmananda. Prabhupada closed his eyes and said, Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. Apashyatam Atma Tattvam. His name will be Atma Tattvadas. Prabhupada remembered a verse. The day of initiation arrived. Prabhupada was giving initiation to different people. This devotee came. They were reading Bhakta Alan, Bhakta Steve, Bhakta Swami Atmananda. He came. And Prabhupada said, what are the 4 regulative principles? He said, Prabhupada, the first regulative principle is no meat eating. Prabhupada, didn't you brush your teeth? क्या आपने दांत नहीं घासा? So he said, Prabhupada, mouth infection, ulcer is there, that's why. Prabhupada said, okay. And Prabhupada didn't even allow him to complete. Prabhupada said, okay, take beach. Your name is Atma Tattva Das, go. In the evening, Prabhupada was giving class. And Prabhupada was speaking. As Prabhupada was speaking, at one point Prabhupada said, so, human life is like an infection. And Atma Tattva Prabhu was fanning. He said, yes, Prabhupada. It is. And then Prabhupada continued, it is, human life is an infection when not offered to the lotus feet of Hari. When it is not offered to Krishna, human life is like an infection. Not worth it. So here Prahlad Maharaj is remembering Krishna at all time and at all places, at all circumstances. The 5th principle that Prahlad Maharaj is here teaching is to see Krishna at all times, trying to remember Krishna as much as possible. Our Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, my brother was telling me this. When Srila Jayapataka Maharaj came to Atlanta, Georgia, the US, so he went to a Gap store. We have Gap store, GAP, where you get clothing, Gap store. Srila Jayapataka Maharaj went to Gap store. He saw GAP, Govindam Adi Purusham. Devotees were thinking, we have also gone to Gap store so many times. GAP, we have not thought Govindam Adi Purusham. Maharaj from GAP remembered Govindam Adi Purusham prayers. So the next time we go to Gap store, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajamihi, remembering Krishna. Now the Prabhupada disciple was saying, it's not Dubai, it's Do Bhai, Krishna Balaram. It's Do Bhai, Krishna Balaram. Another Prabhupada disciple was saying, these are the realizations of different Prabhupada disciples. Another Prabhupada disciple was saying, when in Italy there are 2 places called Rome and Milan, or Milan. Rome and Milan, very popular places in Italy. One Prabhupada disciple was saying, when Radha and Krishna meet, which means when there is Radha Krishna Milan, the Rome on their body stand. Remembering Radha and Krishna at all times. Through places also devotees we can remember Krishna. Now this is just a puzzle, from a big time jigsaw puzzle, to show that if they can remember Krishna at all times, we can also do it. And there are devotees, there may be devotees here in the assembly who are able to remember Krishna from small things and even objects and even gadgets. Someone who is very exalted from that black color probably can remember the black locks of Krishna's hair, or remember the form of Krishna. So remembering Krishna can be done at all times. It's not that only Prahlad Maharaj did it back then. Even now with the situation we can remember Krishna. Then the whole world becomes Krishna consciousness. Which means the problem is not outside, the problem is inside. In Hindi they say, bas nazariye ki hai baat. The problem is not outside, it is inside. When the dirt inside is cleansed, then we can see Krishna outside. But if it's dirty inside, even if Krishna is standing in front of us, still we may not be able to recognize him. So the 5th principle that Prahlad Maharaj teaches is to see and remember Krishna at all times. And as Prabhupada says, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Going to the 6th and the last principle that Prahlad Maharaj has given this world. Please come ahead. There is a lot of space here also. So that those who come have little space to sit behind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. The sixth principle that Sri Prahlad Maharaj teaches this world. We see that in the seventh canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this point has been made by Prahlad Maharaj himself. And this is such a verse that even Prabhupada quotes in the famous song Krishna Taba Punya Habe Bhai. At one point after 7 verses, Prabhupada stops and puts a verse from the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam which Prahlad Maharaj quoted. And then Prabhupada continues the song. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama bikamam manuya prapatan prasangat ritvatmasat surasina bhagavan grihita soham katham nu visruje tava bhritya sevam. Canto 7, chapter 9, text 28, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a very beautiful verse because Prabhupada himself added this in Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai. So we will take this verse as the sixth principle and try to dive deep into what Prahlad Maharaj is saying here. Sri Prahlad Maharaj explains that actually I was being drawn into a deep dark well where my material senses were like ropes and they were just pulling me and grinding me in all directions. And my dear Lord, I had no pursuit. I didn't know where to go. Material desires were like a deep dark well and I was just being drawn into it. But my dear Lord, at that juncture, when there was no one to help me, at that juncture when I did not even know I needed help, at that time your dear servant, Shripad Narad Muni came to me, rescued me, and took my head and placed my head at your lotus feet and became my spiritual master. My dear Lord, how can I give up the worship of that Gurudev? How can I give up the worship of that spiritual master who has connected me to you and has given me service unto your lotus feet? Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord, to that Gurudev, I promise I will never leave his service till my last breath. And this brings us to the sixth principle, the most important principle of the 64 limbs of Krishna consciousness that Rupa Goswami gives, Guru Padashray. Unflinching faith to the lotus feet of our spiritual masters. In the Damodar Leela, we see Yashoda Maya is an embodiment of Guru Tattva. When Krishna was there in the lap of Yashoda Maya, Yashoda Maya puts Krishna down to the ground and goes and attends to the milk that's boiling on the stove. Krishna is there on the lap. Isn't Krishna worthy of attention? What is the milk in connection with Krishna? She should be giving more attention to Krishna. She puts Krishna down saying, Krishna, temporarily I will leave you so that I can go and attend to that milk. Why? Because the milk was boiling. Our acharyas explain, this is Guru Tattva. Why? Because Sri Guru is there with Krishna 24 hours. He is there in Golok Vrindavan 24 hours. But when he sees milk-like people who are boiling in separation from Krishna, he temporarily gives up the association of Krishna and Golok Vrindavan to go and attend to the boiling milk-like jivas of this world, only to reclaim them back and get it back to Krishna, that is Golok Vrindavan. Our acharyas explain, Yashoda Maya demonstrates that Guru Tattva. And that mood of Yashoda Maya is demonstrated by our Gurudevs, because they are all with the Supreme Lord. Nikunja Yono Ratikeli Siddhyai. They are there in the Nikunjas. They are there in Golok Vrindavan. But for us, they have come down because we were boiling in the heat of separation from the Supreme Lord, only to reclaim and get us back to the lotus feet of Radha Shama Sundar, Shri Radha Madhav. Srila Prabhupada, in the 26th 2nd Avenue, in the initial years when he gave Diksha, when he introduced this process of initiation, different devotees came ahead, different hippies came ahead for initiation. And at one point, Prabhupada gave initiation to Upendra Prabhu. And Upendra Prabhu got initiation, and then he got to know that after initiation, we have to give Guru Dakshina. Like you see, after Diksha, normally we go around, we ask, and we get Guru Dakshina, and we give it back to Sri Guru for his seva. So Upendra Prabhu, now this was new for them, 1966-67. Now white body, they don't know what Diksha is, they don't know what Guru Dakshina is. They were told, get something for your spiritual master. He said, okay. He went to his room and came back to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this is for you. Prabhupada said, what will I do with this? He gave Prabhupada beach towel and a small baby blanket. Prabhupada said, iska main kya karu? What will I do with this? I don't go to the beach and I don't have a baby. What will I do with baby blanket and beach towel? Upendra Prabhu said, Prabhupada, I don't have anything. This is what I have. When Prabhupada heard this, Prabhupada took the mood that the person did not have anything and whatever he had, he gave it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada took that mood and with that beach towel and baby blanket, he cut out into small chatai, which were used in the initial days for the hippies to sit on when Prabhupada would give Gita classes. Prabhupada had this tremendous ability of using everything in Krishna service, even though if it was a beach towel or a baby blanket. Imagine we get initiated and everyone is giving dakshina and we go and give beach towel to our Gurudev. It's unthinkable. Probably we will never do it. But back in the days, Prabhupada had to deal with different kinds of personalities because they weren't aware of the principle. And Prabhupada was still kind and polite to all of them. So Yashoda Maya demonstrates this mood of Shri Guru Tattva, of keeping Krishna down temporarily but going and attending to that milk. In the Shastras, dear devotees, we see various examples to illustrate this point of the importance of Guru Tattva. There's a very beautiful Puranic story. Please hear this. Very, very sweet. One time there was one Gurudev by the name Draumya Rishi. What's the name? Draumya Rishi. Now, Draumya Rishi it was like a Gurukul. So many students would come to him. So one boy came to Draumya Rishi by the name Upamanyu. And Upamanyu said, my dear Gurudev, I want to know Divya Gyan. I want to know the Supreme Lord. So will you teach me? Draumya Rishi said, I will teach you, but it will take 20 years for it to be manifested in your heart. Will you wait 20 years? He said, I will wait 20 years. Draumya Rishi said, okay, from now on you can stay in my Gurukul and you are my disciple. And now if you're there in the Gurukul, some Guru Seva has to be done. We cannot just be there in the Gurukul and just honor Prasad, some Seva has to be done. So every day, Draumya Rishi's Guru Maharaj would send him out to herd the cows. He would go out and with cows and calves, he would spend his time out. So one time it so happened that he went in the morning and when he came back in the evening, he was a little plump. So his Guru Maharaj looked at him and said, hey, I have not asked you to eat. I didn't give you the permission to eat. Did you eat outside? Because I see you put on little weight. थोड़ा वजन बढ़ गया है. आप सुबह गए, आप ठीक थे, आप 2 किलो बढ़ा के आए. Did you eat something? He said, yes, Guru Maharaj, I was feeling very hungry. So I ate. He said, what did you eat? He said, actually, when I was feeling hungry, I went to different houses as Madhukari. And I said, Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi, whatever they gave, I started eating from different houses. My stomach was full and now after grazing the cows and calves, I'm coming back. Draumya Rishi said, Upamanyu, I didn't give you permission to eat. How did you eat? Don't do this from next time. Till the time I don't give you permission, you should not eat in different houses like this. He said, yes, Gurudev, I will not eat. Next day he went out, again with the cows. In the evening he came back, again 2 kilos increased. He said, Upamanyu, what is the Rajavidya Rajaguhyam? What did you do? I didn't give you permission to eat. What did you do? He said, Gurudev, I was feeling very hungry. I went with the cows. Cows naturally have milk. I pressed the udder. I drank all the milk. Draumya Rishi said, Upamanyu, I told you, from next time you should not have the milk from the cows. Till the time I don't give you permission, you should not have. He said, yes, Gurudev. The next day he went out. Again when he came back in the evening, some transcendental transformations. How I wish I also had that siddhi. I can eat and put on weight. So he came back, again with little bigger tummy. Guru Maharaj said, Upamanyu, what did you do today? How is it that You again seems like you again put on weight. He said, Gurudev, I was feeling very hungry. So he said, what did you do? Gurudev, actually, when I was grazing the cows, when I was herding them, there was a bhandara feast that was going on. So they invited me. I didn't go. They invited me. So I just went and sat there. Gurudev said, Upamanyu, I told you should not do this. For next time, you should not eat in bhandara. He said, yes, Gurudev, I will not do. The next day, he went out. It was evening time. Upamanyu is not to be seen. It was night time. Upamanyu is not to be seen. Rav Maharishi said, hey, where is this disciple? 3 days he did some drama. Now 4 days not to be seen. He went out. Upamanyu, Upamanyu, where are you, Upamanyu? And from a distance he could hear, Gurudev! He went back. Hey. Upamanyu had fallen into a well. And from the well he was calling out, Gurudev! Rav Maharishi said, what did you do? How did you land up here? How did you fall into a well? He said, Gurudev, I was feeling very hungry. So in the trees, fruits were there. I ate those fruits, but I didn't realize those fruits were bitten by the snake and fruits were poisonous. Now seems like this poison has entered my body and I have lost vision. So I was not able to walk. I fell into this well. Gurudev, please pick me. Rav Maharishi said, what a wonderful disciple I have. I will help you. But he was very happy. Gurudev was really happy. He was proud of his disciple. Now we may think, why? Rav Maharishi thought to himself, I have such a wonderful disciple. If I tell him not to eat in bhandara, he never ate after that. I told him not to drink milk, he never ate after that. I told him not to go from house to house, he didn't do it. Yes, he was experimenting different things, but once I gave instruction, he followed it. What a wonderful disciple I have. Sri Guru can see good in everyone. Now, our thought process was opposite, right? We immediately thought the opposite. But Sri Guru is someone who could see good. Rav Maharishi said, okay, I will help you. You chant the mantras that I taught you. And the Ashwini Kumaras are the physicians, the doctors from the upper planets. They will come, they will rescue you. He chanted the mantras, he came out. And Rav Maharishi was so happy with his disciple that he blessed him. I bless you. Initially, I told you it will take 20 years for Divya Gyan, but now I bless you. Because you sincerely followed my instructions. You made mistakes, but you followed whatever I said. I bless you. And all the Divya Gyan was Hriday Prakashito. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Preme Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Vede Gaye Jahara Charito. Everything was manifested in the heart by sincerely offering to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. The spiritual master blesses and everything is there in the heart. Srila Prabhupada was once there in an auditorium. It was an auditorium program and Prabhupada spoke. At the end, one Indian gentleman got up and said, Swamiji, all this is okay. You are speaking so much Shastra, okay, I understand. Do your Western disciples also know Shastra? You are quoting verses. Do your Western disciples, white-bodied disciples, do they also know Shastra? Prabhupada said, Shastra? They know every Shastra. All the Shastra they have by heart. And Prabhupada said, like for example, our Yamuna Mataji. She has all the Shastras by heart. And Yamuna Mataji is thinking, Prabhupada, which Shastra is he referring to? And Prabhupada said, do you want a demo? He said, yes, I want demo. Prabhupada said, Yamuna, come ahead. I know you know many Shastras. Today, please chant Ishopanishad. Now auditorium is full. Yamuna Mataji knows only 5 verses of Ishopanishad. Prabhupada says, Yamuna, chant Ishopanishad. So he started chanting. First verse, second verse. By the time third verse was done, heartbeat was faster. She chanted fourth verse. She chanted fifth verse. Prabhupada said, enough. Prabhupada said, see, she knows all Shastra. That man was also convinced, they know all Shastra. Prabhupada knew exactly how to present his disciple and how much they knew and how much they were not familiar with. But he always, at all times, would always glorify his disciples. Internal chastisement was there. In public, Prabhupada would never put down his disciples. He would always glorify them. And we would have seen that in so many Prabhupada memories. Prabhupada disciples say, one-on-one Prabhupada would have chastised. But in public, there was always glorification. So here, Prabhupada glorified Yamuna Mataji, and Yamuna Mataji shares that in her memories of Srila Prabhupada. We were talking about how Upamanyu gets the mercy of Sri Guru by being very submissive, obedience to Sri Guru. The same point we see Brahmaji, after the Supreme Lord chanted the Chatushloki. The Shastra explains, even after chanting the Chatushloki, Brahmaji was not very clear. At that time, Vishnu, he looks at Brahmaji and says, Tathaiva Tattva Vijnanam Astute Mad Anugrahat. My dear Brahmaji, I bless you. My name, form, past tense and qualities, whatever is there, I bless you, Brahmaji. Everything will be manifest in your heart. The Shastra Bhagavatam explains, when the Supreme Lord blessed Brahmaji, that time, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, everything came in one flash. How about in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Shripad Sanatan Goswami at Manikarnika Ghat. For 60 days, 2 months, there was discussions. Last year, I had this privilege of going to Manikarnika Ghat. How many have been to Manikarnika Ghat? Quite a few devotees. Now, Manikarnika Ghat in Varanasi it's actually a cremation ground. It's a cremation ghat. 24 hours bodies are being cremated. And Mahaprabhu, for 2 months at Manikarnika Ghat, speaks to Shripad Sanatan Goswami. In the Madhya Leela, we find chapters after chapters of Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatan Goswami. With Rupa Goswami, only 10 days, the Shashwamedha Ghat. With Shripad Sanatan Goswami, 60 days. After 60 days, Sanatan Goswami looks at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, My dear Lord, you taught me so many things. I am afraid I will forget all of them. Happens for us also in the class. We hear a class, by the time class is done, most points get evaporated. If I ask what we discussed on Saturday evening, there will be a question mark. Nam Mahima will be the first answer. But apart from that, some points we may remember, some points we may not. Because the human mind is such, we forget after one point. You see, oftentimes this question or this thought is there in our heart that Prabhuji, I am not able to by heart verses. Whatever class I hear, I forget everything. There is kind of a guilt in the heart. I hear so many things, but I forget everything. Shlok contest karta hu, Prabhuji, bhool jata hu main. So, will I get any benefit? I am forgetting everything. Will I get any benefit? Shastra gives a beautiful example. It's such a beautiful example that it will give lot of inspiration and nourishment to our heart. Shastra says, does anyone remember what they ate 20 years back? 2004, May 20th. Does anyone remember what they ate? Does anyone remember? No one remembers. But do we all agree that it has nourished our body? We all agree. 20 years back, what we ate, we don't remember. We all agree it has nourished. Shastra says similarly. What we study, we may or may not remember. But every verse we study, every katha we sit in, we are getting spiritually nourished. So this is why coming to programs is very, very important. Remembering, we don't want to become Pandit. Panditya is not our goal. Sab yaad rakhna is not our goal. But sitting in classes is nourishing our Krishna consciousness. Just like what we ate 20 years back, we may not remember, but it has nourished our body. So here, Shripad Sanatan Goswami says, My dear Lord, I am afraid I may not remember. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't worry. When Sanatan Goswami offers obeisances, our Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu places his transcendental lotus foot on the chest of Sanatan Goswami and says, Sanatan, I bless you. Whatever I spoke for 60 days, everything will be lit up in your heart. By the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus foot and by the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. Now what are we trying to explain? Daumi Rishi played the role of Guru. Vishnu played the role of Guru. Mahaprabhu is playing the role of Guru. This transcendental lotus foot of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been glorified so much. Gaurangero duti pada jaradhana sampada Gaurangero দুটি পদ যার ধন সম্পদ সেই জানে ভকতির সসার সেই জানে ভকতির সসার গৌরাঙ্গেরও মধুর লীলা যার কর্ণে প্রবেশিলা হৃদয় নির্মল ভেল তার হৃদয় নির্মল ভেল তার যে গৌরাঙ্গের নাম লয় তার হয়ে প্রেমোদয় তারে মুই জয় বলিহারি তারে মুই জয়ে বলিহারি গৌরাঙ্গেরও দুটি পদ যার ধন সম্পদ this was one of Prabhupada's favorite songs. The lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jara dhana sampada. It is the life and soul of the Gaudiyas. The lotus feet of Chaitanya Nityananda. Say jane bhakati rasasar. Our Acharya say, those who have understood the glories of the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, they have understood the essence of bhakti. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to meet Shivananda Sen, the Supreme Lord's very dear associate, Shivananda Sen had a small son. And this son was so small, he was crawling on the ground. So when Mahaprabhu came to meet Shivananda Sen, Mahaprabhu was 7 feet tall. And this small child who was crawling could not see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was practically seeing this way and he would fall to the other side. So after one point, the small child realized, I think I cannot see Mahaprabhu like this. So he went crawling to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, forcefully took the toe of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and put it inside his mouth. He started sucking the toe of Mahaprabhu. Ah, honey. He was relishing the toe of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu looked down. Mahaprabhu didn't say anything. Mahaprabhu was talking to Shivananda saying the boy is sucking the toe. That boy goes on to become the great Kavi Karnapur, the author of Anand Vrindavan Champu. How? By sucking the toe of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So don't underestimate the toe of Mahaprabhu. The personality is very powerful. Yes, but his toe is equally very, very powerful. If the toe is powerful, what to speak of the foot? If the foot is powerful, what to speak of the feet? If the feet is powerful, what to speak of the fingers? Finger is powerful, what to speak of the hands? If the hand is powerful, what to speak of the whole personality? How supremely powerful will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu be? This is what Prabhupada is giving all of us. The glory and the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What did we do? Nothing. What is our qualification? Nothing. Causeless. To sit here and to speak about Brahmaji, to speak about Mahaprabhu with Sanatan Goswami, what did we do realistically? Nothing. What is our qualification? Nothing. Did we even aspire and pray for it? No. We were leading some materialistic life and some devotee, some counselor, his heart was bleeding seeing us and he brought us to this path. And he was brought to this path by someone else and the chain of Sampradaya continues. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it is very beautifully explained. One time there was a Mathura Brahman. We are quoting a few points. Please have these points in your head because at the end we are going to combine everything to bring about the point that Prahlad Maharaj is making about the importance of Guru Padasha or Guru Tattva. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there is a personality by the name Jana Sharma. What is the name? Jana Sharma. Jana Sharma is a Mathura Brahman. He would live in Mathura. Now, Jana Sharma had a spiritual master, the celebrated personality of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gop Kumar. Probably we all would have heard of Gop Kumar from Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Jana Sharma's Gurudev was Gop Kumar. Now, Jana Sharma was such a personality. Whenever he would sit in Gop Kumar's classes, he would not understand anything. The simplest of the simplest things also he would not understand. Simply to hear or simply to chant, that would also be over the head. And Gop Kumar would think, how is it that my other disciples understand everything? He is not understanding anything. Kya karu? Aise shishya ka main kya karu? Now, Gurudev is someone who will not reject his disciple. His heart will be bleeding how he can uplift that disciple. He was thinking, I am speaking the basic of the basic things. He is not able to understand. What should I do? Gop Kumar, as he would give classes, he realized this flaw or this gap in Jana Sharma, his disciple. At one point, Sripad Sanatan Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatamrita says, Gop Kumar went to Jana Sharma, took his palm and placed his palm on the head of Jana Sharma and said, Mangalam Bhavatu, I bless you that whatever I have in my heart, Jana Sharma, I bless you that may everything come in your heart too. Sanatan Goswami says the moment he was blessed by his Gurudev, like a rocket, he flew all the way, piercing Brahma Jyoti, piercing Vaikuntha planets, piercing Ayodhya, piercing Mathura, piercing Dwaraka, standing on Golok Vrindavan Dham, eye to eye, face to face, cheek to cheek in front of Krishna. He didn't do any Navavidha Bhakti. No chanting, no hearing. How wonderful, right? Imagine no chanting, no hearing, and you're standing in front of Krishna and Golok Vrindavan. Wow, wow, wow. He was standing in front of Krishna. Sanatan Goswami says, some people may have a doubt. Is this even possible? Sanatan Goswami says, for them I have written a verse. He writes a verse to substantiate the authenticity of this pastime. Mahat Sangam Mahatmyam Evaitat Paramad Bhutam Kritarto Yena Vipraso Sadyo Tat Tat Swarupavat. He says, what can I speak about the glories of Mahat Sangha? That Jana Sharma who had practically no qualification got free entrance. As His Holiness Janardhan Maharaj was saying, all access pass. Straight entrance to Radha and Krishna's pastimes. What did he do? Nothing. But very beautifully Sanatan Goswami says, Sadhyo tat tat swarupavat. Now Gopakumar, dear devotees, please pay attention. Gopakumar, in the spiritual world, his eternal name is Swarup. Sanatan Goswami does a wordplay here. He does tat swarupavat. He says, Swarup, that is Guru Maharaj, revealed the eternal Swarup of his disciple Jana Sharma. In the last word, when he uses Swarupavat, he says Swarup, the Guru Maharaj, revealed the eternal Swarup of Jana Sharma. Jana Sharma happens. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jana Sharma happens to be Krishna's dear friend in the spiritual world, in Sakhiras. But how did he get it? Causeless, nothing. But Sanatan Goswami says, this is just one of a pastime. He says, please don't take inspiration. Please do not think, oh, without chanting and hearing also I can go. Ab maja karenge. It is just one of a pastime. Sanatan Goswami clearly says, Sri Guru can do it, but he will not, because he wants a disciple to at least do some basic chanting and hearing. In this world also, no one gets any free access, a pay hike, promotion without doing anything. Some basic hard work you have to do. What to speak of the spiritual world? So Rupa Goswami very beautifully explains of the 64 limbs, Guru Padashraya is the first. This is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kamabi kamam anuya prapatan prasangan ritvatmasat surasina bhagavan grihita. Surasina. He says, Sura, one godly person came. Prabhupada says that godly person is Sripad Narada Muni, Gurudev. How can I forget the lotus feet of that Gurudev who can give me causeless mercy even when I don't deserve? He can give me Radha and Krishna even when I have no qualification. ऐसे गुरु महाराज का संग कैसे छोड़े? और ऐसे गुरु महाराज की सेवा कैसे छोड़े? और क्यों छोड़े? Why should I leave such a spiritual master who can give me Radha and Krishna? So unflinching faith to our Gurudevs is the backbone for advancing in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada has taught this, and we see in Prabhupada's disciples how much faith they have for Prabhupada. Every disciple of Prabhupada, they have so much faith, doing different services and to the biggest, highest ability. One time, one disciple from Europe wrote a letter to Prabhupada that Prabhupada, here book distribution is going perfect. We are distributing lot of books. Prabhupada said, Acha, what are you doing? They said, Prabhupada, we have put two tables, two stalls. First stall is prasadam stall. And second stall is book stall. Prabhupada, we keep prasadam free. They come and they have prasadam. Their hand is filled with a plate of prasadam. Now, after prasadam goes inside, heart is getting little transformed. They go to the next stall, books. They are inspired now, Prabhupada, to buy your books. So, Prabhupada, through prasadam, we are promoting your books. Prabhupada said, wonderful. This is my mission. Their hand should be full and pocket should be empty. Prabhupada was very witty in his analogies and replies. And this is what Prabhupada is giving through his books. What is Prabhupada giving through his books? Guru Padashray. 2 days back I was hearing in one class, it just surfaced online. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said, I had only 10 times physical association with my Guru Maharaj. Only 10 times. How many times have we had? More than 10? Easily more than 10. And our fortune is such, we have YouTube, we get updates also where our Gurudev is, what he is doing, his pre-recorded classes, everything is there. For Prabhupada, there was no ISKCON Desiratory, no SoundCloud, no YouTube, no Vedabase, no proper books being published, only 10 meetings physical. And that too also not a lot of interaction, because Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada would be surrounded with his other sannyasi disciples, and Prabhupada at that time was Grahastha. So not many instructions. Probably the only popular instruction that we have heard is when Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, you are learned, you know English language, please go and preach. What other instruction have we heard? That's pretty much it. But he took that to heart. He took that to heart and created a worldwide revolution that probably no one ever did. One time, one reporter asked Prabhupada that, Swamiji, why did you come to America? And Prabhupada very humbly he said, one godbrother of mine went to England and he failed. Another godbrother went to Germany and he failed. I thought, if anyway I have to fail, let me fail in a new place. And I came to America. In a very humble manner. So Srila Prabhupada through his books is teaching this basic element of surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And what is the biggest gift that Sri Guru can give? Yes, he gives Harinam. But Shastra explains the greatest gift that Sri Guru gives is Sambandha Gyan, our relation with the Supreme Lord. Sambandha Gyan is the biggest gift and realization that Sri Guru can give as to who we are in connection with Krishna. Now here we'll discuss 3 examples. Quickly we'll discuss 3 examples and try to weave a point related to Guru Tattva that can be helpful in our Krishna consciousness. First, Lakshmi Devi, the consort of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. When Shripad Narad Muni playing his veena, when he came to the Vaikunta planets, he started chanting the glories of Krishna and Vrindavan. He started explaining, Barha Pidam Natavara Vapu Karana Yoho Karanikaram Bhibrad Vasa Kanak Kapisham Baijayantim Chamalam Randhrar Benu Adhara Sudayana Purayan Gopa Brindai Brinda Ranyam Soppadaраmanam Pravishad Gita Kirti, glorifying the beauty of Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, I heard this from my worshipable spiritual master. In the verse which we just chanted, at one point, Karna Yoho Karnikaram. Karna Yoho means 2 ears. Dual case, 2 ears. Karnikara. Karnikara is a flower. 2 ears, 1 flower. Why? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says 2 ears mean 2 flowers. But 2 ears, 1 flower, why? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Krishna is very restless. He puts 1 flower here, after 5 minutes here. Then he picks and again keeps here. Then again picks and again keeps here. Again picks and again keeps here. The restless nature of Krishna is explained. Karna Yoho Karnikaram, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. But Srila Guru Maharaj was explaining, actually there is a deeper sense here. When Krishna is there with his friends in the morning, and Krishna has a flower here and the friends are here, and that time the gopis on the other side are thinking, Krishna, when will the night come when we can be with you, when we can dance with you? And Krishna picks up a flower from here and keeps it here, almost to tell the gopis, don't worry dear Praja gopis, time will come by pretty fast. And as he's dancing with the gopis, the friends are thinking, Krishna, when will the morning come and we can play with you? Don't worry, the time will come by very fast. Karna Yoho Karnikaram, playing with the flower, Srila Guru Maharaj was explaining. Now when Lakshmi Devi hears this beauty of Krishna, she's thinking, hey, my husband is always sleeping. This form is very interesting. He's playing flute, he's dancing, he's stealing. How I wish I can be around this person. And leaving Vaikuntha, she comes to Belwan, the land of Sri Vrindavan Dham. And as she comes to Belwan, she's calling out to the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord finally comes. Krishna finally comes there. And Lakshmi ji looks at Krishna and says, my dear Lord, I have a desire. Krishna says, what? She says, I want to enter your ras. I want to enter your ras dance. Krishna says, for that, there are 3 things you have to do. Because the Brajagopis have access to rasa dance. So, if you also want to dance, you have to do the things that the Brajagopis do. Lakshmi Devi says, done, I will do. You just say, Krishna, I will do it. Krishna says, okay. First, you have to take birth in Vrindavan. Lakshmi ji says, okay, I will do that. That's not difficult. I will do it. Krishna says, second, you have to milk the cows. Lakshmi Devi. You have to milk the cows, take their gobar, make patties, stick it onto the walls. Who? Lakshmi Devi. Even we, to take gobar, we will say Gau Mata ki jai. But how many of us will take gobar in a hand, make patty and put? Now imagine Lakshmi Devi, who is swimming in Aishwarya. She has to make patty. She says, is this a requirement? Krishna says, yes, it is a requirement. She says, okay, done, I will do this. Krishna says, third, you have to get married to a gopa and in the middle of the night sneak out and come to meet me. She says, what? Wait a minute, I am coming here to be with you and you are saying get married to someone else, make patty and be with someone else throughout the day and at night come here. Krishna, not possible. Krishna said, exactly, this is what gopis do. This is what gopis do. They're married to someone else, middle of the night they sneak. My dear Lakshmi Devi, I'm sorry. Because third point is not fitting here. You have no access to the rasa dance. And even till this date, at Belwan, she's doing bhajan to get access. This is point number 1. Now please keep this in mind because we are again going to come back. Second, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva got to know about Vrindavan Dham. Even the demigods are mad behind Vrindavan, enamored by Vrindavan Dham. When Lord Shiva got to know about Sri Vrindavan Dham, he said, even I want entrance to rasa dance. Even I want entrance. So he came down. And now he was doing tapasya, he was doing bhajan. Purnamasi Devi saw him. Who is Purnamasi Devi? The grandmother of Madhumangal and Nandimukhi. Madhumangal and Nandimukhi are brother sister. Their parents is Sandipani Muni. Sandipani Muni's mother is Purnamasi Devi or Yogamaya in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan she is called Yogamaya. In Navadvip she is called Praudamaya. Same personality, same tattva, different names. So Purnamasi Devi or Yogamaya, who is dressed in white, his grandmother, she orchestrates all the pastimes in Vrindavan. See, she saw Lord Shiva is doing bhajan here for what? So she came to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva said, only one desire. I want to enter rasa dance. Purnamasi Devi said, no male form is allowed. You have to change. Identity has to be changed. She took the hand of Lord Shiva and dipped him in Brahmakund. And when he came out, the male became female. Got transformed. And now Lord Shiva came out as Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai. Came out as Gopeshwar Mahadev. Now form is female. So Purnamasi Devi said, now you can try. No guarantee, you can try. So Lord Shiva went, the rasa dance began, everyone was dancing. At one point Krishna stopped. Today I am not experiencing the bhav that I feel. Some intruder is there. Koi bahar se aaya hai. And they started looking around. And in no time, all the Brajagopis looked at this new gopi, whom they had never seen. This gopi was circled and cornered. I said, we have never seen you. It seems like first time. What is your name? Lord Shiva had not thought of a name. He said, name I don't. Okay, where do you stay? What is your address? No address. Because Everything was changed last minute preparation. When students prepare last minute, they get nice this. Last minute preparation doesn't work. Here, name I don't know, address I don't know. Okay, what's your husband's name? Which husband? I am sorry. Okay. In-laws, you may know in-laws' name. Blank, no answer. Lord Shiva has no answer. At that time, everyone is thinking, how is it that she has no answer even for her own name? Lalita Sakhi comes there. Now, Lalita Sakhi is very bold. Pragalva, very bold. Durte Brajendra Tanaye Tanushushtu Vamyam Ma Dakshina Bhava Kalankini Lagavaya Radhe Girim Shunu Itam Iti Shikshayantim Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Our Rupa Goswami has beautifully glorified Lalita Sakhi in his Lalita Ashtakam. Lalita Sakhi is very strong. Lalita Sakhi comes. Seems like something is off. She keeps looking. She says, oh, this is not our normal gopi. This is a Sakhi. But you know which Sakhi? Lord Shiva changed his identity but forgot to remove his Damru. Lalita Sakhi says, this is Damru Ali Sakhi. This is not some normal person. This is intruder. Purnamasi Devi comes and says, oh, my disciple, this is Lord Shiva. Krishna says, Lord Shiva, you changed your form but still no entrance. You can stand out and be the guard and protect the residents but still no entrance. Now we are talking about big personalities here. Lakshmi Devi, Lord Shiva. And now the last and the third example. The Brahmanas were doing yagya in the land of Vrindavan Dham. The famous pastime of the Brahmana Patnis. As we know, the friends were hungry. Krishna was also hungry. Krishna asked his friends to go to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas shoot the friends away. Go. Don't disturb us. And the friends came back. And Krishna said, now go to the wives, the Brahman Patnis. And the Brahman Patnis, when they got to know everything that was meant for the yagya, they gave to the friends of Krishna. Because they were enamored so much by the beauty and form of Krishna that they gave everything that was meant for the yagya. Shamam Hiranya Paridim Vanamalya Barha. The beautiful form of Krishna is explained by the Brahman Patnis. Who is Krishna? Oh, Shamam, he's bluish black. He has beautiful locks of black hair. His dhoti is not yellow, it's lightning. Yellow and lightning are a little different. Krishna is lightning, nice flute, nice peacock feather. And here the Brahman Patnis are so enamored and attracted by the form of Krishna that they give whatever is there to the friends. The friends bring it to Krishna. Krishna says, see the difference? You asked the Brahmanas, they didn't give. And the Brahman Patnis gave. The Brahman Patnis came to see Krishna. And they said, my dear Lord, we have a desire. The Brahman Patnis had developed or were meditating on this mood of Parakhiyaras. They also wanted to dance with Krishna. All three personalities had the same mood of dancing with Krishna. Krishna said, not possible at this point. They said, why? What wrong did we do? Krishna said, there are a couple of things here. First, go back to your husband. They said, no, we have come here. Krishna said, you go back to your husband. They will accept you. Don't be here. Please go back to your husband. And Krishna said, more importantly, I am a Gopa and you are a Brahmana. And the wife of a Brahmana becomes like a mother for a Gopa. Krishna said, this is not etiquette. I cannot do this. So the Brahman Patnis also did not get entrance. But they were cultivating this mode of Parakhiyaras to dance with Krishna. Now what is the point that our Acharya Srila Prabhupada here is teaching? Lakshmi Devi wanted to enter the rasa dance but couldn't enter. Why? Because she didn't do bhajan in Sambandha Gyan. She didn't have Gopi Deha and she didn't have Gopi Bhav. Lord Shiva had Gopi Deha but did not cultivate Gopi Bhav. Brahman Patnis had Gopi Bhav but not Gopi Deha. All three didn't get entrance, which means to enter the pastimes of Krishna, two things are important. Braj Bhav and Braj Deha. The mood of a Brajvasi and the body of a Brajvasi. This is Sambandha Gyan and this Shri Guru gives. This Shri Guru gives. This is Diksha. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan. The time of Diksha is when the devotee gives his heart. Why? Because wants to cultivate Sambandha Gyan. This Sambandha Gyan is given by Sri Guru. And this is why Prabhupada would say it is important to have a bona fide Guru who knows his Sambandha with Krishna. Only then he can give your Sambandha. If he doesn't know his Sambandha, how can he give the disciple? So this is why Prabhupada would say coming in the line Sampradaya is very, very important. And this is the point Prahlad Maharaj is hammering again and again. How can I leave the worship of that spiritual master who has given Sambandha Gyan, who has given me service unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master? In this way, dear devotees, Prahlad Maharaj gives 6 teachings in the form of Nam Mahima, or the glories of holy name, before he appears in this world. After he appears, Govinda Parirambita and Krishna Graha Grihitatma in the form of not wasting time, Avyartha Kalatvam. What was the third? Dham Mahima, glories of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Fourth, Navavida Bhakti, the 9 limbs of Krishna consciousness. 5, to see Krishna everywhere. And 6, Guru Padashray, unflinching faith unto the lotus feet of our Guru Devs, of our spiritual master. Before I end, dear devotees, we were speaking about Yamuna Mataji. Oftentimes we speak about Prabhupada disciples, male-centric, who are very glorious. But at the same time, Prabhupada had female disciples who were very, very glorious. Yamuna Mataji is probably the only disciple of Prabhupada where Prabhupada openly in the public, he said, Yamuna is on the platform of Bhav. Prabhupada never said it for anyone except Yamuna Mataji. One time, Prabhupada, we are talking about Guru Padashray. So to extol this point or to illustrate this point of how much Guru Padashray Yamuna Mataji had for Prabhupada. One time, Prabhupada was there in a train journey in India. And it was only Prabhupada and Yamuna Mataji. Short distance, they were in a train. And it was afternoon time. And Prabhupada was feeling hungry. So he opened the lunch box. He opened the rice. And rice had become cold. So Prabhupada said, Yamuna, rice means hot. Rice should be hot. Yamuna Mataji said, yes, Prabhupada. She went inside to the pantry. And she told the pantry guy, I want to cook. He said, what? She said, I want to cook. Now this is an Indian train. Not a UAE train. Not an American train. Indian train. You know what I am talking about. She went inside and she said, I want to cook. He said, whatever we give, that you have to take. No cooking booking here. She said, no, I want to cook here. He said, whatever is there, you have to accept. If you want, you want. Otherwise, you will not get it. She said, no, my father is very old. Not spiritual master. My father is very old. So much mamata. My father is very old. He is hungry. I want to cook. He said, I told you, there's nothing you can make here. This is a train pantry. This is not your temple. You cannot make anything here. Yamuna Mataji said, I am asking you for the last time. Will you allow me or not? He said, I will not allow. What will you do? Yamuna Mataji said, I will jump out of the train and the blame will be on you. And he thought she was just saying it. Yamuna Mataji was almost standing on the door, on the threshold of the train to jump out. If you don't allow me, I will jump from here. And you will get the blame for not allowing me to cook in the pantry. That pantry guy said, kitchen yours, take. It's all yours. Yamuna Mataji cleaned the whole pantry with Ganga Jal. Had all the vessels, cleaned everything. Cooked from scratch for Prabhupada. Hot rice, dal and one sabji in a train. And mind you, she was in her early 20s. An early 20-year-old who is not from India is ready to give up her life for pleasing her Gurudev. What Shraddha is this? What attachment is this? She prepares everything, goes to Prabhupada and says, Prabhupada, this is for you. Prabhupada had never said you cook. Prabhupada just said rice means hot. Now disciples of Prabhupada are always one step ahead. They understand the heart of Prabhupada and go one step ahead to please him. Yamuna Mataji prepared, went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this is for you. When Prabhupada saw this, hot rice, hot dal and sabji, Prabhupada said, Yamuna, you are my Annapurna. So much love. So much love. Prabhupada had a lot of affection for Yamuna Mataji for the services that she did. Not just the Govindam Adi Purusham. Those prayers are just Mama Tejamsha Sambhavat. Those are just one spark of the splendor of Jamuna Mataji. But the commitment that she had, the Guru Padashray that she had, unimaginable. How about Mother Malati? How about Mother Jamuna? So many Prabhupada disciples ready to give their life for pleasing Gurudev. This is the ultimate teaching Prahlad Maharaj is giving in the form of Guru Padashray. This is the ultimate teaching that Rup Goswami is giving in the 64 limbs as Guru Padashray. And this is that one limb of Krishna consciousness, if cultivated, can help us sail on the path of Krishna consciousness in this lifetime itself. Gaura Premanande, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I wholeheartedly want to thank the devotees of Avataridesh for very kindly coming on all 3 days, for being present, for inspiring me to speak. To the management committee of Avataridesh, thank you so much for having me. To all the hosts, thank you so much for opening the doors of your house on a weekday so that all of us can come and hear. And of course, to the devotees at the center who very beautifully made sure that we could have a program there also on the auspicious occasion of Ekadashi. Please kindly forgive me if I said something wrong or if we went over time or I presented something that is not correct. The only aim and desire was to glorify Prahlad Maharaj and Narsinghadev and to bring about some points that we can follow in our Krishna consciousness. Every point that I said is also applicable for me. It was not an instruction, but it was a reminder for me that sitting here, I should also follow these points. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.